Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst Emmanuel Efeni. Good morning, Emmanuel.
Good morning, Ruben. Good morning, Rufai. Good morning, Ayo. Now, let's start the review with this day, Nigeria's newspaper of record. The lead story, 11 days to presidential poll. All eyes on you. Buhari charges Nigerian police. INEC expresses concern about violent attack on supporters of political parties. Says election won't hold in 240 polling units. INEC declares. Commission finalizing issuance of 1,642,386 identification tags for agents. Now, the president yesterday, of course, appraising the security arrangement put in place ahead of the general election, the presidential election, only a few days away, as it were. And, of course, charging the police, the lead security agency on election day. Yes, Nigerians are looking forward to a peaceful atmosphere to go and cast their votes. But what we see in recent times, thugs attacking political party rallies in states where, a state like Rivers, where the PDP has cancelled its presidential rally because they don't want blood to flow. So we imagine what people will be doing on election day. This is why the police must be on high alert. Yes. And of course, other security agencies, including the army, that will be providing security far away from the polling units, because we must not give room for those who want to cause mayhem on election day to have their way. Now, if we just move over to other stories quickly, the Guardian newspaper, again, Buhari meets Emefiele, keeps mum on Naira swap, CBN, embrace e-Naira internet banking as alternatives to cash. Apex Bank loses 15 billion Naira to hoarding. Explains how to exchange old notes. BDCs profit from Naira scarcity. Lower exchange rate for cash transactions. Ikpeazu worried about cash scarcity on traders in Abia. Commissioner says Niger governor orders police to arrest anyone rejecting the old notes. Now, the Punch newspaper also on the new Naira deadline. Banks, fuel stations reject old notes. Ignore Supreme Court order. Buhari, Emefiele meet again as old Naira deposits hit over 2 trillion Naira. Well, for the CBN, his goal of bringing so much of the money outside the banking system into the system must have been achieved. But other Nigerians are suffering. What is the position? No statement from the central bank as to whether the banks should continue receiving the old notes. And of course, many banks are not receiving the old note. That's the experience of customers right now. Because according to some bankers, there's no contrary circular from the central bank other than the one that stated that February 10 is the deadline for old notes to come back into the banking system. Now, who is disobeying the Supreme Court interim order? Is it the federal government? Yes, the Attorney General said federal government will obey the court order. And only yesterday we read that they have not received the true copy of that ruling. So what is happening? But Nigerians are suffering under this situation. Daily Trust, banks ignore Supreme Court, reject old notes. Well, is it in the place of commercial banks to obey that order, or the federal government giving the appropriate instruction to the central bank to direct banks accordingly. Well, Nigerians are suffering, we reiterate. Leadership newspaper, as Naira black market boom, CBN silence throws Nigerians into confusion. Yes, now the Nation newspaper, Naira crisis has brought hunger, anger, says Sultan. Monarch asks president to take action. Banks reject old notes, shut out customers. This is a story out there. The reality on the streets. Now, what is going to happen tomorrow? Of course, all parties will be at the Supreme Court to argue their cases. Will that bring a closure to this matter so that Nigerians know where they stand, and we have more new Naira coming out of the ATMs? That is what Nigerians want. And for those areas not served by banks, what is the solution? Daily Sun newspaper, INEC excludes 240 polling units from voting. Yes, these polling units, part of the newly created units, but nobody wanted to move to those units. So INEC has excluded those units from the list of units to be used on election day. So nobody goes there and nobody play funny hanky-panky at those units. Vanguard newspaper, El-Rufai, I no longer believe in leadership quality around Buhari. What is this supposed to mean? Alleges Buhari's cabal eyeing interim government. El-Rufai denying Buhari to run away from APC's monumental failure. That's what the Middle Belt Forum is saying. They are smelling defeats, resorting to ING, PDP leader, APC government unraveling, imploding. Kachuku, while presidency, APC keeps mum. El-Rufai's utterances in recent times ends up hitting the polity, but I don't know what he wants to achieve. An acolyte, a follower, a diehard Buharist of the past is now a different person. Talking about the leadership quality around Buhari, are you telling us that you don't have confidence in the leadership quality of the president in the twilight of his second term in office? It's too late, I will say, for anybody to take that kind of tantrums very seriously. Now, the foreign newspapers, quickly, the Daily Telegraph. Police use of Chinese drones risk UK security. Officers urged to be vigilant with technology as task force ordered to review equipment. Yes, 2/3 of the drones used by UK police forces are Chinese made and made by one company already delisted by the Americans. But again, the Americans have a way of influencing the Britons when it comes to matter of foreign policy. Recall Huawei, how they influenced Huawei, the British government, to drop Huawei from deploying the 5G. Ruben Rufai and Ayo in red.
So it's Valentine's Day. I thought you two would come in red.
No,
you didn't come in red.
Elders don't get involved in this.
Okay.
Seasonal matter. Okay. We have our
you are too old to show love.
No. Seasonal. That's the underlying word.
I wanted to wait into that headline that talks about El-Rufai saying
yes, El-Rufai.
He doesn't believe in the leadership quality around Buhari.
That's the Vanguard newspaper.
Put
it up there.
I think it's just reflective of what is going on now in the APC. And you see, this was the question I kept on asking. Will the APC be able to campaign with the records of President Muhammadu Buhari? Obviously, no. It's been difficult for them to campaign with that record. And they see things are not going in their favor now as regards many policies that El-Rufai has been part of those that are taking the case to court. Now he's saying he doesn't believe in the leadership around President Muhammadu Buhari. This was the same Buhari that he used to kneel down for our door and worship so much. So you can see how the cookie crumble. Everybody now is leaving Buhari because they know, one, he's lame duck, and he will soon leave. So they're already potting to the next person. And I think one person that knows the experience better on this table is Dr. Abati. When he wrote that piece, that and the phones rang no more. So I'm sure that reality is dawning on President Muhammadu Buhari now, based on the internal politics going on in his political party. But I think what is instructive is whoever is the next leader that is coming in should remember, like the Yorubas will say, that adiyera no kinshon wajegbe. What it means is that a sacrificial chicken that is used to clear the spiritual pathway when people died in medieval times in Yoruba land, called adiyera no, is not something only somebody will eat, that there will be a termination date to whatever you do. So be careful what you do, and remember that it is the people you are accountable to in all of this. This is instructive. Say El Rufai, say Baba at loggerheads.
Well, very quickly, to comment on your stories about Naira notes being rejected,
Yes.
old notes being rejected by the banks, being rejected by everybody. Okay, Supreme Court gave the order on February 8th. Could you believe that in Lagos High Courts, even old notes are not being accepted? Despite the fact that the Supreme Court says till February 15th, which will be tomorrow, even in the High Court, people are no longer collecting old notes. If you want to file processes, they tell you, go and do e-filing. We don't collect old notes here. So the old note technically has lost its legitimacy because the people have rejected it, because they've lost trust, they've lost belief, which is what confers legitimacy on any process, whether judicial or electoral. Thank you very much, Emmanuel.